Going on, coaches? Welcome to the first edition of One Play the JV Way. I decided to change it up a little bit. Instead of doing a Twitter post about one JV play, I decided to go with a full on video to break down how we, at least in my JV program, in our high school program, approach one single play, kind of making it simpler for our kids to understand at the subvarsity level. So hopefully you get some tidbits, get some information that you might be able to take back to use. And today's video is all about the inside zone. Okay, now the inside zone can be one of those threatening plays that look simple, but you hear all the professionals talk and it can be expensive. It's not as easy as gap scheme. And don't get me wrong, I love gap and I love power. Power is my favorite play in football, but we always start our season with inside zone. And the reason behind it is because it's one of those plays where the pieces of it are easier and not necessarily easier, but they're easier to approach from a coaching standpoint and a learning standpoint. You're getting all the linemen moving in the same direction. Nobody has a unique role per se on the line. And anytime you can get all the linemen moving in the same direction at the same time, it makes learning a little simpler. As for the running backs, it allows them to kind of show their skill set a little bit and have a little bit of fun because they're attacking what they see in front of them. So you're giving the running back the ball and saying, okay, find open space, and there he goes. Okay. Now the other nice thing about the inside zone is that you can approach it from any formation and any personnel package. We are a very heavy 20 personnel team, or 11 personnel if that's what you're calling it these days. If you're calling the sniffer a tight end, whatever. But we are a very heavy 20P team. I've seen it run from 10 personnel. I've seen it run from 21. I've seen it run with 3 running backs out of the T. You can do it, okay? Any way you can find it, you can do it. Now, I'm going to show you the way that we install it and the way that we teach it, just so that if you're thinking about the inside zone, or if your program runs it and runs it a super complicated way, you can see a kind of a simpler way to approach it so that you can look like this on a Monday night or whatever day you play. Okay, this is simple inside zone to the right. Luckily, we had 3 very good running backs this past season that allowed us to run the play really efficiently and really effectively. Now, it doesn't hit for 18 yards every time, obviously. It's an inside run. But we were averaging, I think, about 6 to 8 yards a carry when we ran the inside zone. So it works out really well for us. So, obviously, it all starts with up front. How does it look up front? Okay, for us, we teach it very, not necessarily, well, we teach it differently than a lot of programs do. You see a lot of upper level programs, a lot of college and high school or varsity programs tell you, okay, you have to point out the mic. Now you have to count who has the first person past the mic, who has the second person past center line, yada, yada, yada. That's way too confusing for freshmen, sophomores, 8th graders, whatever you're teaching. So what we do is we approach it by saying, okay, who's covered and who's uncovered? And we measure it from your belly button to your play side partner's belly button. So let me kind of explain that. So if we have, let's say this right here is the guard, or the center. I'm sorry. Let's say this guy right here is the center. Okay. The center is covered right now by a tackle. There's somebody inside zone to the right. There's somebody to his play side shade. So he's going to take that person. He's covered. You look at this guard now. There's nobody on the guard. Okay, the guard is freewheeling at least to this gap right here. Okay, he's uncovered. Now, obviously there's somebody to the left of him, but when it comes to our purposes, this gap is empty. So he has nobody. So what the uncovered player then does is he is going to double down with his backside partner, help get a little bit of displacement, and then move on to a linebacker. Okay. Now, the key point that we teach our kids, you hear a lot of varsity teams and a lot of upper level coaches say inside zone is tough because you need vertical displacement, yada, yada, yada. We teach our kids when it comes to the zone, get hands on a body and stay locked on. Get hands on a body and stay locked on. I don't need you to move that guy 8 yards out of the way. I need that person sealed up because we're teaching our running backs find space. It's hard to find space when there's a defender right in your face, but it's a little bit easier when that defender is being covered by one of our linemen. Okay, so I'll show you kind of an example of that. So this is what we call our slant formation out of 20. And we have from right to left, our right tackle is covered. Okay, because there's an end on that side. Our right guard is covered in the B gap. Our center is uncovered. There's nobody there. So what he's going to do is he's going to block down with the backside guard, who is covered, and he's then going to work up to a middle linebacker. Now the backside guard, this guy is a shade on the center, but it doesn't matter because he's from his belly button to the center's belly button. Okay, and that's our play side partner. So he is now responsible for our tackle, and then our backside tackle is going to work up to a linebacker because he's uncovered to the play side. Again, he has an end on his backside shade, but he's uncovered to the play side. Okay. Now, the best thing about inside zone is we leave the end. Okay. So we leave a man because he's going to essentially be blocked by the quarterback, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Let me show you some film clips. Okay. So right here, this is inside zone. This is going to be inside zone to the left. And I want you to pay attention to the center right here. The center is uncovered right now. Okay. This guard or this tackle is shaded on his left side, on the guard's left side. And this tackle over here is shaded on the inside of the right guard. So the center right here has nobody to his play side. So what he's going to now do is he's going to work backside and work a double on this big hoss who honestly was giving us trouble all night. Now, by doing that, what he does is he creates that lane at the A gap for the running back. Now the H-back inserts, goes up, takes the middle linebacker that the center wasn't able to pick up because he was doubling down, taking care of first level first. Now we go up. Again, you notice, this is a majority freshman line right here. They're not the best, but they take their steps. They get hands on a person enough for our running back to get space. It works out good. Inside zone is a great play for lines that typically struggle, might be a little bit weaker. Okay, right here, watch our backside tackle. This is inside zone to the right. He's going to leave this guy wide open. He's not going to touch him. Instead, he's going to work his steps up to this linebacker right here and get in his way. That's all he's going to do. That's all he has to do is get in his way to give our... Oh, crap. Sorry. I'm playing around with Screencastify here. But anyway, what he does is he gets in the way of the linebacker and gives the running back enough space to make a play. So he gets the ball, cuts up, and just finds space. Our linemen are doing a good job of working their blocks, staying on guys, and decreasing the number of blue jerseys that can go make a tackle. And that's all we need. Let our running backs work. Okay, those skill guys want to call themselves skill guys. Prove it. That's the best thing for inside zone is making those skill guys prove that they apparently have skills. Which our running backs, we were very lucky. We had some very quality players. Okay, now speaking of running backs, the way we teach them is we give them 3 options in inside zone. And everybody, if you run inside zone, should know these rules. The 3 rules in order: bang, bend, and bounce. Okay, first one, bang. Your job is to hit the A-gap. That's where we want the play ran, right up the center. And so when you get that ball, we want you to bang it right up the middle of the field. So get that ball and bang it up. If that's not possible, if that's sealed off, then we want you to bend it inside against the flow of the play. Hopefully this nose is going to work, and then there's going to be this gap here, and then we want you to bang it. Or bend it in, I'm sorry. Now what if that's blocked off? Well, then we want you to bounce it. Okay, and then it kind of works like an outside zone. We'll go over that another day. But if I'm going to be completely honest, when we teach this to make it simpler for our JV kids, we don't even talk about bounce. Because the problem is that we get these running backs coming up from modified, from Pop Warner, and nothing against those guys, but at those levels, it's very easy for a kid to get outside and just beat everybody. And we can't have that at JV because everybody's playing a little faster, run fits are a little better. So we completely eliminate the bounce to begin with. And we just say, don't do it. We don't want you to do it. We want you to just bang it up or bend it inside. And then when they get more comfortable, as we get a little older, that's when we tell them, okay, now we trust you enough, bounce it out. So here's a few examples. Okay. The first one, this is a bang. And we don't tell them this. This is 100% their read. And it's, okay, is my lane closed? If it's closed, I'm going to bend it inside. This right here is actually our starting H-back. We were up in the game, fourth quarter. We were just trying to run the clock down. And we said, you know what, let's give him a chance. Well, he's very good at sticking his nose into a gap and finding space. So he gets this ball and he bangs it right up the middle. Bang. Like I said, not every play gets 21 yards. These are just some really good examples. Obviously, for film, I wanted to show you. This is also a bang right here. Okay, again, linemen do a good job of getting hats on hats. We get some open space. Boom. Off to the races. Okay. Now this example right here, this is going to be a bend, and this kid right here has vision like nobody I've ever seen. He is very good at cutting back across the flow of traffic. In this same game, on an outside zone, he bent it inside and scored like a 30-yard touchdown all the way across the formation. It was crazy. But in this case, he hits that A-gap and sees that it's closed off, so he bends it back. So he gets there, sees that his point of attack is closed. So now he's going to bend it across the form, or bend it back, makes a play, okay, save some good yardage there. But again, that's the running back making the play. That's not necessarily the lineman getting people out of the way. That's them stepping to their blocks, getting on hats. The way is sealed off. Their linebackers flowed. We just missed that defensive end. But, they get upfield. And that's all we need. Now right here, this is going to be a good example of a bounce. This kid right here is a sophomore going into being a junior next year. He's going to be really good for our varsity team because he is a hard-nosed runner. And I trust him on telling him to bounce because every other play he wants to stick his nose down and go upfield. But he knows, okay, that's closed off. I'm going to find space. So he gets this ball, and it is an inside zone. We can tell because my H-back inserts himself rather than trying to get the shade and going up. But he gets that ball and just bounces it right to the outside and finds a seam. Now, when we teach our kids to bounce, we tell them, you go with the flow of traffic until somebody crosses your face. Once somebody crosses your face, that's when you cut it up. So again, he's going to get the ball. This guy's about to cross his face right here. So he cuts it in. And it makes a play. Gets hawked down from the back. Now, another good example of a bounce right here that ends in a touchdown. Okay, same thing. He gets this ball and he keeps working to the outside until someone crosses your face. That's when you hard plant and go up. Same kid. We trust him on the bounce. Really coach it up. We want you to hit those two gaps until you give them the go-ahead. That's how you develop kids. That's how you coach them and tell them, this is what we want you to do. Now, speaking of that, we coach our quarterbacks. Since we run out of shotgun, we're able to run a zone read with it, and we coach our quarterbacks the same way every time we install inside zone. As on the snap of the ball, they're opening their foot a quarter turn, and they're dropping their back foot, and they're eyeballing this kid right here, the D end. Now, it might not be a D end. Maybe they're running like a 3-3, and it might be an outside linebacker, but you're reading end man on the line of scrimmage. Once they have that read, now they're going to mesh with the quarterback, and they're going to poke their hands out at full extension and start pressing or start holding that ball to the running back. And he's going to make a decision. If this end decides to crash down along the line of scrimmage and go after the running back, the quarterback's not going to give pressure to the running back. He's going to pull the ball, snap it back inside, and he's going to take a nice outside arc and get some yardage here. Now, if that's not possible because this D end is doing what he's supposed to do, and he squeezes that gap down and he sits at contain, obviously I don't want my quarterback running into him, so we're just going to hand the ball off. We're going to put pressure into the running back's stomach, let him know, okay, you're getting the ball, so the running back can trap on the ball and then go. Okay, so I have a couple examples of that as well. Again, it's a very simple play. And the nice thing with this, too, is the quarterback essentially becomes a blocking option. Okay, the quarterback here, he's going to hand the ball off, but because he carries out the fake and he's been eyeing that defensive end the whole time, this kid is going to flow out thinking that the quarterback has the ball. So he flows, and the quarterback doesn't even have the ball. This kid right here, we worked so hard on making sure his mesh was very good, and he fooled teams so many times with his mesh. Again, fakes the ball, hands it off, or gives the handoff, and then he works upfield. He trapped that D end in his vision. Okay. Now the next one, same play, but now the quarterback, he's reading this kid right here. This kid's actually going to crash down the line, and there's going to be a huge seam. Because we've been handing it off all night, now the quarterback has a chance to snap the ball back and run. And that's it. That's simple. So if you guys need an easy play, or if your varsity staff is running the inside zone and their rules are they seem super complicated with their scheme for your kids, go to your coaches, go to your guys and say, hey, here's a simpler way to run it. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always around. This is all I like to do, besides obviously coaching my kids. Okay, but if you have a chance, go to coachingshare.com. I have a blog there called the JV Playbook where I specifically write about topics that go with JV and Subvarsity football. Please go check it out at coachingshare.com. Also on Facebook, go check out the JV Playbook page. Join up. Join up the Facebook group, the JV community. Really, all I'm trying to do is build a community of JV and Subvarsity coaches, and even varsity coaches that want to help out, of finding better ways to develop our kids at the Subvarsity level so they're ready to play on those Friday night lights. On X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, YouTube, they're all the same handle, at Coach Easton 268. So find me. Come talk with me. Send me messages. I'm always open. If you have ideas for plays of the week or for one play the JV way, if you have a play that you think would really work for this and you want to make a video, reach out to me. I would love for you to do that because I hate talking. I hate the sound of my own voice. But yeah. So thanks for hanging out with me. I know this was might have been a long one. Thanks for hanging out. Check out next week. Check out the blog. We'll talk to you later.